Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2655 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, it's titled A Lifelong Testament to God's Unending Faithfulness, a trek through Psalm chapter 71, verses 17 through 24. Today we embark on a profound and deeply personal trek through the concluding verses of Psalm 71 in the New Living Translation, encompassing the verses 17 through 24. Psalm 71 is a remarkable testament to a lifelong faith, the prayer of an older individual who has weathered many storms and now, in his twilight years, continuing to cling to God as his unshakable refuge. We've already witnessed the Psalm's raw vulnerability, his desperate pleas for abandonment in old age, and his unwavering trust in God amidst the malicious plot of his enemies. Now in these final verses, the Psalm culminates in a magnificent display of purpose, profound praise, and confident expectation of God's ultimate vindication and restoration. This section beautifully encapsulates the essence of a life lived for God. It speaks to the vital role of passing on a spiritual legacy to future generations, to the unshakable truth of God's incomparable greatness, and to the triumph of joyful response of the soul delivered from its deepest troubles. It's a powerful and fitting conclusion to a psalm that began with such anguish, reminding us that God's faithfulness endures through all seasons of life, leading ultimately to a resounding praise. So let's open our hearts and minds to these final words of seasoned faith, allowing their wisdom to inspire our journey. First, let's read Psalm 71, verses 17 and 18. O God, you have taught me from my earliest childhood, and I have constantly told others about your wonders. Now that I am old and gray, do not abandon me, O God. Let me proclaim your power to this new generation, your mighty miracles to all who come after me. The psalmist begins by casting a gaze backward, reflecting on the enduring influence of God in his life. O God, you have taught me from my earliest childhood. I have constantly told others about your wonders. This is a profound acknowledgement of God as his lifelong mentor and guide. From his formative years, God has been a source of his wisdom and understanding, shaping his worldview and teaching him through both direct revelation and lived experiences. The divine tutelage has not been a private affair. It has driven him constantly to share his experiences. He has constantly told others about your wonders. In ancient Israel, the oral traditions was crucial for preserving the nation's spiritual heritage. Elders played a vital role in transmitting the stories of God's mighty acts to the next generation, ensuring that his faithfulness would not be soon forgotten. The psalmist embodies this calling, living a life of continuous narrative of God's miraculous intervention and awe-inspiring deeds. His life has been a living testament, an ongoing witness to God's power and character. However, the reality of its advanced age and current vulnerability brings forth a renewed desperate plea. Now that I am old and gray, do not abandon me, O God. This echoes his earlier heartfelt cry in verse 9, underscoring the persistent anxiety of being left alone, particularly as the physical strength wanes. In ancient society, diminished strength could mean increased vulnerability to enemies and even social marginalization. This repeated plea is a testament of the psalmist's deep reliance on God's strength, not on his own, and his profound fear of being forsaken. But this fear is immediately contextualized by a compelling purpose. Let me proclaim your power to this new generation, your mighty miracles to all who come after me. This reveals a selfless motivation behind the desperate prayer for continued life and strength. He doesn't want just to be rescued for his own comfort and survival. He desires to live on so he can fulfill his sacred duty as a generational bridge. He yearns to impart God's power and mighty miracles to this new generation and all who come after him. He sees his continued existence as essential for ensuring God's acts, his character, and his unwavering faithfulness that should be deeply impressed upon the hearts of those who will inherit the covenant promises. His very survival is intertwined with his mission to declare God's glory to those who have not yet seen it. Consider an ancient craftsman nearing the end of his life, whose greatest desire is to pass on the intricate secrets of his trade to his apprentice, ensuring that his skill and art do endure. The psalmist is like that, but his craft is a story of God's faithfulness, and his apprentices are the generations to come. Now let's move on to verses 19 through 21, where the psalmist transitions to a magnificent declaration of God's unparalleled greatness and confident expectations of the ultimate restoration from his profound troubles. Psalm 71, verses 19 through 21. Your righteousness, O God, reaches the heaven. You have done wonderful things. Who can compare to you, O God? You have shown me great and severe troubles, but you will restore me to health and bring me from the depths of the earth. You will restore me to honor and comfort me once again. The psalmist's focus shifts from a personal situation to the grand, almost cosmic declaration of God's incomparable character. Your righteousness, O God, reaches the heavens. You have done wonderful things. Who can compare with you, O God? His previous fears and urgent pleas are now absorbed into an overwhelming sense of God's majestic supremacy. God's righteousness, His perfect justice, His moral purity, and His unwavering faithfulness to His covenant purposes is not confined to the earthly limits, but reaches the heavens, signifying its infinite, all-compassing nature. God's wonderful things, often referring to the miraculous deeds of deliverance, particularly those seen in Israel's history, are beyond human comprehension or replication. The rhetorical question, who can compare to you, O God, serves as a powerful affirmation to God's unique and supreme majesty. No other God, no human ruler, no power in heaven or on earth can rival Him. This foundational belief in God's unparalleled greatness provides the ultimate basis for the psalmist's hope and his ability to trust even in the darkest of times. The psalmist then courageously acknowledges the depth of his suffering, but immediately follows it with a confident declaration of God's restorative power. You have shown me great and severe troubles, but you will restore me to health and bring me from the depths of the earth. He doesn't deny the brutal reality of his great and severe troubles. These are not minor inconveniences, but profound hardships that have brought him to the very brink of despair and perhaps even death. However, the but is a turning point, a pivot from lament to triumphal faith. Its declaration is an unshakable belief in God's ability to reverse His fortunes. You will restore me to health, or revive me, give me life again, it may be translated. It indicates a profound recovery from illness, weakness, or despair. And bring me up from the depths of the earth is a powerful metaphor of the resurrection. Rescue me from the grave, or deliverance from the lowest points of suffering and despair. It echoes the watery imagery used earlier in Psalm 69, seeking in the mire, drowning in the deep waters, the pit of death, suggesting a complete reversal of the desperate situation. He is confident that God will pull him out of the deepest pit and lift him up high. The psalmist continues with the double promise of restoration and comfort. You will restore me to honor and comfort me once again. Having been subjected to scorn, disgrace, and humiliation, as he lamented in the earlier verses, the psalmist confidently believes that God will restore me to honor. This means regaining his reputation, his dignity, and his rightful place among God's people. It's a divine vindication that completely reverses the shame that he endured. And finally, comfort me once again. After the profound pain, the despair, and the fear of abandonment, and even the cruel mockery, the psalm anticipates a season of deep solace and a renewed peace directly from God. This speaks of God's tender care, His ability to heal the brokenhearted, and to bring profound peace and joy after a season of intense trials. Now let's conclude our trek with the final verses 22 through 24, where the psalmist expresses an overflow of gratitude through vibrant musical praise and powerful declaration of God's righteousness. Then I will praise you with music on the harp, O my God. I will sing praises to you on the lyre, O Holy One of Israel. I will shout for joy and sing your praises, for you have ransomed me. I will tell of your righteous deeds all day long, for everyone who's tried to harm me has been disgraced and humiliated. The psalmist transitions from a confident expectations to a fervent, detailed commitment to praise. Then I will praise you with music on the harp, O my God. I will sing praises to you on the lyre, O Holy One of Israel. This is the promised response to God's deliverance and restoration. His praise will be expressed through the various musical instruments and forms. The harp and the lyre were common stringed instruments in the ancient Israelite worship, often used to accompany singing and dancing. It shows a full-hearted, expressive, and perhaps public worship. He addresses God intimately as my God, and then reverently as O Holy One of Israel, a title emphasizing God's unique holiness and covenant relationship with His people. This passionate music praise is the direct result of God's anticipated acts of salvation. The joy of His deliverance cannot be contained. I will shout for joy and sing your praises, for you have ransomed me. This is an exuberant, uninhibited declaration. The shout for joy signifies an overwhelming gladness and a loud public expression of delight. The reason for this outpouring is profoundly personal, for you have ransomed me. Now, the word ransom implies that he is being bought back or delivered from captivity, slavery, or imminent death, often at a great cost. The psalmist acknowledges that his liberation comes solely from God's redemptive act. Finally, the psalmist vows to continue his testimony. I will tell about your righteous deeds all day long, for everyone who has tried to harm me has been disgraced and humiliated. This fulfills his earlier desire to proclaim God's power and miracles to the next generation. His life has been a living testimony, a continuous narrative of God's righteous deeds. These deeds are God's act of justice and faithfulness, particularly his intervention on the psalmist's behalf. The reason for the personal proclamation and the ultimate vindication he anticipates. For everyone who has tried to harm me has been disgraced and humiliated. The very enemies who gloated over him, who plotted his downfall, and who falsely accused him will be publicly shamed and dishonored. This is the ultimate reversal of fortunes, a clear demonstration of God's justice. The psalmist's life, once a spectacle of scorn, will become a spectacle of God's vindication, powerfully confirming his righteous rule. Psalm 71 in its entirety is a magnificent journey from the depths of despair and fear to the heights of confident praise and prophetic vision. It is a testimony to the enduring power of faith, the importance of intergenerational witness, and the unshakable truth of God's ultimate ability to restore, vindicate, and comfort those who trust in him. What profound wisdom can we draw from these final verses for our wisdom trek today? Firstly, our deliverance, when God acts, calls for the full and expressive response of praise. Our gratitude should overflow into music, shouts of joy, and continuous declaration of God's goodness. Secondly, our personal testimony of God's righteous deeds and his vindication in our lives is meant to be shared. It is a powerful tool for encouraging others and proclaiming God's justice in a world that often seems unjust. Thirdly, the ultimate triumph of God's righteousness guarantees that those who stubbornly oppose him will be put to shame, while those who trust in him will be honored and comforted. This provides a deep sense of security and hope. And finally, Psalm 71 as a whole reminds us that God is faithful through all seasons of life, from childhood to old age, through the great troubles and ultimate restoration. Our legacy is not just what we accumulate, but how we live a life that consistently proclaims God's unfailing love and power to every generation. Let us embrace this legacy, praise God with every fiber of our being, and boldly declare his righteous deeds, knowing that he is the ultimate Redeemer and Restorer. Thank you for joining me on this profound and ultimately triumphal trek through the conclusion of Psalm 71. I trust that this exploration of lifelong faith, intergenerational witness, and God's restorative power has enriched your journey today. Join me again the next time as we embark on a new segment of Wisdom Trek, continuing to uncover the timeless truths of God's Word. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, and most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.